Previously on Fear the Walking Dead.
Well, at least we get Daniel Sharman Ultra Soft.
Here's the new Charmin Ultra Strong.
Oh my god, man, it was pissing me off. And Strand's just like, yeah, she's here. Why would you tell guys that are hunting down Madison that she's there? Oh my god, man. You know, he like unties Victor and he's like, thank you, old friend. And Daniel's like, we're not friends. You know? And that hit to the head from, say, a hammer? Wow, after all this time, Fear the Walking Dead finally had a good episode. What a sick joke.
What kind of sick joke is this?
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host, your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of Season 8, the final season. This one is for Episode 8, titled Iron Tiger.
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of Season 8, the final season. We only have 4 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead remaining, so we're getting pretty close here to the end of the series, not to mention the last 2 episodes are going to be airing together, so we actually only have really like 3 episodes, but like the last 2 are like 2 parts, like 2 episodes, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're almost done with Fear the Walking Dead, and well, I'm happy to tell you guys that I genuinely really liked this episode. It doesn't mean it was perfect. I had some issues with it, but I enjoyed this episode a lot. I really did. If every episode of the final season could have been this quality, I think we would have been better off, because this was really good. There was great character stuff, great emotional scenes, great action moments, and just, I mean, overall, really, really enjoyable episode for me, at least, you know? So we're gonna go into it, we're gonna talk about it, and, you know, kind of discuss, you know, I mean, what is mostly positive things. I got a minor, a few nitpicks, but for the most part, it's gonna be a relatively positive review this week. So, yeah, this episode, we get started with Madison, Daniel, and Strand, and their kind of group. They're out there looking for gas, basically. And they run into one of the old, you know, like, truck stops or whatever, where they used to leave these boxes, right? Which says, take what you need, leave what you don't. And, you know, they were kind of wondering, like, who's doing this? Who's, you know, leaving these boxes all these years later? Who's keeping that slogan alive? And Daniel kind of makes a comment on that, which I thought was kind of interesting. And anyway, Madison is still looking for Alicia. She continues to see some walkers that have their left arm chopped off, right? And from what it seems like, Troy is doing this just to get at Madison, right? That's what it seems like. And one of the walkers kind of comes up towards the glass, and of course it breaks through the glass and tackles Madison to the ground. Strand has to kind of, you know, come in there and save her, which I thought was kind of cool. And, well, then we get reintroduced to Luciana, who comes in from the back. And we actually get a reunion between Luciana and Daniel and some of the others, right? And, of course, Luciana is shell-shocked to see Madison's alive after all these years. And I actually kind of like the reaction from Luciana. She's like, you're supposed to be dead, Madison. You know, kind of acknowledging, like, yeah, you were dead, but then they resurrected you, right? But anyway, cool intro. So then we get the intro. We got Luciana on the title card. She is, of course, back in this episode. Luciana's always been a character that I just, like, I don't really care because they don't do much with her, but I will say that when she is on screen and when they utilize her, the actress does a good job. So I wish that they would do more with her. But it's nice to get Luciana on a title card, right? That was cool. So then we got Madison and Strand. They're kind of sitting there talking about Alicia. Strand's got like the bone hand, right? And they're kind of acknowledging all this stuff. And then we kind of get Luciana and Madison to catch up for a little while. And Luciana basically tells them that she is part of this whole Padre thing, but she was with a group to, you know, help out with like the fuel and the gasoline and stuff like that. And apparently she was actually the one that begged Padre to spare Daniel's life and just drop him off. So that's why they dumped him in the swamp, is because Luciana found out the Padre was gonna hurt him because Daniel was too old to be useful for Padre. But apparently that's why they dumped Daniel in the swamp. So I actually like that. I like that explanation. And it was Luciana just kind of looking out for him, you know? So that was good. And, well, basically, then we kind of get them, you know, talking, and then Luciana's like, okay, I'm gonna go outside, you guys stay here. It was very weird at first. I was like, okay, what's going on, right? and there's this person named Iron Tiger that just arrived in this big fuel truck, and we're kind of wondering like who this is, right? And I actually really like how this was done because Madison's like, no, like, tell me who this is. Why are you being so secretive, you know? And they walk up to the vehicle, and I kind of saw this coming when it was happening, but I was still pretty surprised when I saw it. The person that walks out of the vehicle is Charlie, okay? So somehow, some way, this unfortunately is something that I have to mention on the more negative side. Although I enjoyed this episode, it's very unrealistic to me that Charlie would be alive given the circumstances that she was in. But at the same time, I'm not going to fully fault it because, you know, Padre did save her from what it sounds like. Maybe they have some sort of way to save her that we don't know about. You know, there really is no way to judge that unless we actually know fully, but I will admit it's a little far-fetched that she's alive, but I enjoyed the return, and I must give the writers credit for this, and this is one thing that I'm shocked I'm doing, because Ian and Andrew, I do not give credit for anything. I think their writing mostly sucks, to be honest. But I will say this, I am very happy that they did not chicken out, and they gave Madison and Charlie a full-on conversation about Nick. With Nick flashbacks, Madison's reaction, I mean, it was incredibly well done. At least I thought. I thought it was incredibly well done. It was the best that they could do with what they had, if you ask me, and I think they did really good. Madison's wondering why everybody is so upset, you know, when seeing, you know, her reaction to Charlie, and she's like, guys, like, what's going on? What are you guys hiding from me, you know? And Charlie comes out and says it, and she's like, I killed your son. I killed Nick, you know? And Madison, of course, you know, lunges at her. Understandable, of course. We know how much he cared about Nick. Strand has to hold her back and stuff like that. And, well, it's a pretty emotional scene as you see Madison beating that one thing or whatever with the hammer. I don't know what that was or whatever. But anyway, she's like, you know, letting her anger out, right? Killing some zombies and all this stuff. And I love how they do it because you actually see flashes of Nick, right? While she's losing it, you see her like hugging Nick in the flashback and like some of these other moments. It was really, really nice. I really liked how they did it. Like I said, I don't like that Nick died. I'm not gonna act like I do, but I liked how they did it in this episode. Her reaction to it, it was really good. You know, and then Strand kind of comes in and you know, hugs her and stuff and kind of helps her out, which I really enjoyed that scene as well. You know, talking about if she did things differently, maybe Alicia would be here. Maybe if you know, actually properly killed Troy, Alicia would be here. And if, you know, maybe I did things differently with Charlie, Nick would be here, right? So it's pretty insane. And it's a pretty bold statement, I would say. Now, in terms of, you know, Charlie, she kind of walks up to them and she kind of says, like, look, I would take it back if I could. Like, I would do anything to take, you know, Nick's life and put it back, right? And put him back on this earth. So it was pretty sad. I really enjoyed the talk. And then Madison gets the idea, which I thought this was kind of crazy, but she's basically like, okay, so you snuck into the stadium, you fooled all of us, so I'm going to need you to do the same with Troy Otto. You're going to sneak in there, but this time you're not going to gain his trust and then screw him over. No, you're going to kill him. So she sends Charlie on a little bit of a different mission than the first time, right? And I actually really like it because Charlie is, you know, she's willing to do anything. Like, Daniel's like, Charlie, you don't got to do this. And Charlie's like, no, I owe Madison that much. Like, she fully agrees with it, which I could agree. You know, like, making up for what happened with Nick's death, to Madison, this is something that makes sense, is to send her in there to take out Troy, deal with the problem, and then if she does that, then she can forgive him. And I really liked how they didn't keep any dialogue away. Like, they did a really good job. Even in this episode, Madison's like, but Alicia would not forgive her. And Strand lets her know, he's like, actually, Alicia was the very first person that forgave Charlie. I love that. I love that they're so forward with the dialogue. I wish Fear was like this more often because I love it. They didn't keep anything back. I even like how Madison kind of asks Victor, she's like, why didn't you tell me about Charlie? And he's like, well, because I thought she was dead. Like, you know, like, I didn't think it mattered, right? Now, I'm sorry, but it looks like she's alive. Crap. Like, I would have said something if I would have known, you know? Like, it's realistic. The dialogue is very realistic. I, for once, really like the dialogue in this episode. It's really good. So Charlie goes out there. Unfortunately, Troy catches her very, very quickly. And I actually like it too because Charlie tries to kind of work with Troy and he's like, do you think I'm going to trust anybody that's talking to Madison Clark? And he friggin' knocks her out. Love that. Thought that was awesome. And he, of course, locks up Charlie, ties her to a chair. And again, the dialogue is so good, man. Like, Troy walks up to her and he literally says, Nick, he was like a brother to me. I deeply cared about him. I can't believe you were the one that killed her. Why is Madison defending you? Why does Madison want you back? Exactly, right? And I love it. I love his dialogue. I love how just straight up he was about the whole thing. And, it was really, really exciting. And he's like, okay, you're going to tell me where Padre is, and then I might let you go. That's the deal. And, Troy's not the kind of guy to stand there and hurt a kid, and I didn't think for one moment that we were going to see that. But, he threatened her a little bit. He was like, all right, you're going to tell me everything you need to know. Charlie kind of acts up. He kicks her down into the broken glass and stuff like that. And, basically he tells Madison, look, you're going to show up, you're going to tell me where Padre is, or I'm going to take her out, right? And Daniel, being very concerned for Charlie, of course, they all go there together, and we get a pretty big confrontation. So let's talk about the big thing about this episode. I'm sure everybody wants to hear my thoughts on this. We unfortunately see the death of Charlie in this episode. Now, I say unfortunately pretty loosely because I was not big on her character for a long time. But I will say this, and I'm sure this is going to take people by surprise. I actually liked her death. I did. I must admit, I actually enjoyed it, and this is why. Do I agree with them bringing her back for one episode after making us think she died last season? A little cheap, not gonna lie. And that does kind of dock some points, I will say. But I really like what they did, because she feels bad for what she did. There's amazing flashbacks, great dialogue. Troy confronts her, Madison confronts her. She does this one big final mission, and then she realizes that if they give her over, that means that Madison's going to give the exact location of Padre. And she does not want to be responsible for another place that Madison loses because of her. It's actually really good writing. I really liked how they did it. And I'm shocked that the Fear writers actually pulled this one off, because it's realistic. She already felt the guilt of Nick for all those years. We've seen it presented to us in the show, Despite how you may feel about Charlie, she's always felt the guilt of that for a long time. And now Madison's about to lose another home because of her. Innocents are also about to die. She knows she screwed up. She knows that there's only one way to get through this. And I love that they had Charlie sacrifice herself for Madison's group, for their safety. It's really, really well done. I can't believe I'm saying it, but the writing is really good. I don't know what happened. Like, if the show could be like this the whole time, I would friggin' love it. And I love it too, because then you get a fight that goes down. Troy is kind of upset because it sounds like his daughter's missing, which we've talked about that a few times, but we'll have to see where his daughter went. It sounds like something went on there. And we get to see a pretty big fight between him and Madison. They kind of fight about it a little bit. And, it's really, really exciting. A lot of cool battles, a lot of cool stuff. They get out of there, of course, with Charlie. And, it really does make you think, like, I kind of am shocked, but it was really crazy how they take Charlie's dead body, they put her in the back of the truck or whatever, and you've got poor Daniel back there that, like, finally had, like, another daughter figure, and it's so sad because he looks at Madison, he's just like, twice, Madison, twice. I lost a daughter because of your, decisions. Like, I love that, man. I love it. And he looks at her and he's like, Madison, I'm sorry. I can't keep defending you anymore. Like, because of you, I lost Charlie. Because of you, I didn't get to see Ophelia in time. Like, I love it. It's so good. And Daniel's character made sense in that scene. And he left, And the only thing about the episode I found to be a little bit annoying at the end, I found this to be a little frustrating, is that Madison just, like, walks off. I was like, okay, what the frig ever. That was cheap. They, honestly, I didn't need that. That was a terrible way to conclude it. But, this, aside from that, and, like, a few minor things here and there, I really liked this episode. I'm gonna say this is at least an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought some of the dialogue was good. There were minor performances still from Kim Dickens that I could still tell were a little phoned in, but for the most part, I enjoyed the episode. I really did. So let me know in the comment section below. Did you enjoy episode 8 of Fear the Walking Dead? I actually really did. So post your comments down below. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.